Hey, what's up, zoners, and welcome to the earliest waiver wire show on the planet. Today, I am going to be going over all of the players on your waiver wire I think that you should pick up and how much you should spend on them. I know, man, I don't have money either. We have a wide receiver, all right? This guy is available in 85% of leagues. He was wide receiver 5 over the last 2 weeks. The number 1 wide receiver on this team is on IR, so this is it, man. It might continue for the rest of the season, and people forgot about him, dude. So go out and spend money on this guy. We've got a tight end, all right? He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games from the best quarterback in the league, and the other tight end on this team is amazing, Hall of Famer, and they're trying to save him for the playoffs, man, so this might continue as well. You got to pay attention to this, okay? And again, this is an early show, man. This is the 49ers I'm watching right now, so I'm doing this during the afternoon games. So let me know. Comment down below if I forgot something. Check my comments because I will add players as we go along. Waiver wires are super important. This needs to be a group effort because I can't cover it all right? So let's get into this. I got all my notes typed out, but you got to hold on for 7 seconds. You can do it! All right, let's start off with the wide receivers. We're talking MVS, not CVS. I see that around town, all right? 15.6% rostered. Again, dude, only 15.6% rostered. He's been wide receiver 5 over the last 2 weeks with the Saints. He's had a bye on this week. So as long as he's been playing game with the Saints, man, he's been wide receiver 5 in fantasy, and he's available on your waiver wire right now. Oh my God, dude. He only has a 14% target share, but he's got that Rashid Shaheed roll, dude. They literally just take like 4 or 5 shots a game downfield for a super long touchdown, and that's where MVS excels, dude. So 3 touchdowns in the 2 games, long ones. Olave on IR, man. Remember, he got sent to the hospital pretty much. Who knows when he will come back, dude? So MVS is a huge pickup. Play him as your flex every single week without Olave. He gets the Rams week 13th. They're giving up the 10th most fantasy points to wide receivers at 29.2 points a game. Holy shit, man. Start him next week in your flex. Next up, I was like, David Moore? Who is this guy? 0.1% rostered. I spend 10% of my fab on him. 6 receptions on 10 targets. That led the team, man, for 80 yards. That led the team as well. He even had a touchdown, man, versus the Kansas City Chiefs with their amazing cornerbacks. 30.3% target share. Holy shit, man, that is huge too. Jalen Coker. This was Jalen Coker's role, man. Then Jalen Coker went out. Jalen Coker is an undrafted free agent. This guy's a veteran, all right? This guy was a 7th round draft pick by Seattle in 2017, man. So, yeah, this guy's been around for a long time. He is worth picking up. I think I'd rather have Coker, but we have to pay attention to David Moore running all these routes. I liked Adam Thielen, man. I had Adam Thielen in this position when the game started, but by the time the game ended, Adam Thielen is too old. David Moore, just old enough, all right? So versus Tampa Bay, week 13. Tampa Bay is an amazing matchup, dude, except for unless you're the Giants. 6th most fantasy points per game, 30.7 to wide receivers. So David Moore, man, pick him up if Jalen Coker's out. You can start him in your flex next week. And then this guy right here, dude. Westbrook, man. I just call him Westbrook. Nick Westbrook. 7.5% owned. 10% fab I spent on him. He is a perfect flex, man. When we talk about flexes, we're talking about touchdown upside, all right? 2 receptions on 5 targets for 48 yards, but he got that touchdown, man, versus Houston week 12. 20% target share over the last 2 weeks, a little bit over that, so he's being involved. Ridley was just dominating target share. They're spreading the ball around a little bit more right now. Dude, he's got a touchdown reception in 6 of the last 7 games, all right? So what is that, like 80 percentile? Dude, that fool is going to score a touchdown? Holy shit, okay? More touchdowns than Justin Jefferson, man. Justin Jefferson got me fucking 2 points. 3 points, 4 points this week. Oh, my God. 2 more than Lamb. He's got 2 more touchdowns than Lamb. So, hey, Westbrook out there scoring touchdowns. Put him in your flex. At Washington week 13, you saw what Dallas did this week against them. 17th most fantasy points per game to wide receiver, so an average matchup next week. Again, dude, I would start him in my flex, man. And then Noah Brown, I told you to stream him. And he got 10 targets, so I had to put him on this list. 10.5% rostered, 1% fab I spent on him. 6 receptions on 10 targets that led the team. 71 yards versus Dallas. McLaurin ended up getting that long touchdown. But again, dude, 30.3% target share coming from Jalen Daniels. That's what we're looking for. But he had the best cornerback matchup of the week out of any other wide receivers. That's why I said you could stream him. So I was not surprised to see him being targeted. Greg Olsen even said something like that as well. Now, this is the important thing, though, man. He has the same number of targets as McLaurin since week 6. That was heading into this game. Now he's got 4 more, dude. So he is the more targeted wide receiver. He doesn't get those high-value targets, but still, dude, for somebody in PPR flex, Noah Brown is not terrible. versus Tennessee week 13. Terrible matchup, though. Fourth fewest fantasy points per game to wide receivers next week. Noah Brown, I would pick up if I was desperate. On to the tight ends, okay? Noah Gray, man. All right, the Gray man, it's like Ryan Gosling in that Netflix movie, all right? 31.7% owned. I spent 20% of my fab if I needed a tight end, dude, because this guy's caught in 2 touchdowns in each of the last 2 weeks, and I am a Kelsey, I was a Kelsey owner last year. Dude, I'm telling you, they were doing that this year, and then Rice went down. So they want to save Kelsey for the playoffs, dude. They're going to make the playoffs. He's going to get 15 targets a game in the playoffs. If they can defer to Noah Gray for a while, they will. And dude, 2 touchdowns. Oh my God, dude. I got to start ranking this guy a little bit higher. I did not pay attention to this, but 2 weeks in a row, I got to start paying attention. Again, the Panthers giving up the most fantasy points per game. But he led the team in targets and had 2 touchdowns last week. So this is not just some weird thing, man. 2 weeks in a row. At Las Vegas, he's got the second best matchup next week too, dude. So pick up Noah Gray, start him next week, man. Las Vegas giving up the second most fantasy points per game to tight ends at 14.0. Oh my God. That is the game of the tight ends, man. Kansas City gives up points to tight ends, and then so does the Raiders. And Luke Schoonmaker, man. I was watching this game. This guy looks athletic. He's 6'6". He's huge. 11.1% rostered, 5% fab I'd spent on him. 4 targets. That was the second most on team. It's all CD Lamb right now for 55 yards and that touchdown versus Washington. So, hey, man, Dallas did not look too bad. I know it was a divisional matchup against the ex-coach, so it meant a lot to Dallas. 10 targets last week after Ferguson out with a concussion, though. That's what we're paying attention to. So if Ferguson is out this next week, you can go ahead and pick him up and start him as your tight end, especially in full PPR. This guy's a second-round draft pick last year, dude. So usually it takes a while for tight ends to become good. You know, Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta kind of threw that out the window. But hey, man, second, the draft capital is there. He's got a little bit of time to marinate. Now he gets some opportunity. And it's going to be versus Thanksgiving. So an early turnaround. Ferguson might miss this game, okay? So start Schoonmaker if Ferguson doesn't. But hey, dude, the Giants are giving up the fewest fantasy points to tight ends. But hey, dude, it's the tight end for this shitty quarterback. You got to start him. There's nowhere else to go. I only have one quarterback right now, Russell Wilson. I mean, Drake May did terrible. There's some other quarterbacks, but they did not do that great. 49.7% roster, so I could barely put him on this list. Man, if you're over 50, you don't make this list. 10% fab. He threw for 28 times, 270 yards, and a touchdown. Dude, he looked amazing to start that game. I don't know how they weren't getting points off that. He's still rushing the ball a little bit, but yeah, dude, that weather was terrible in the second half, and he still threw for 270 yards, man. He should have had that touchdown to Pickens at the end. Quarterback 9 or better in 2 of the last 4 games, and then I looked at his matchup, dude. He's got a great matchup next week. It is a divisional game, which I do not like, especially in the AFC North, but 4th most fantasy points per game to quarterback Cincinnati does, and you know Cincinnati is probably going to move the ball better than most against Pittsburgh. So I like Russell Wilson next week. And then running backs, man. Again, running backs have been thin, super thin. We have 3 kind of, at least, interesting people here. Amir Abdullah, I picked him up for free this week. 19% roster, 10% fab, dude. So Madison's actually been okay. I did not like Madison at all heading into this year as a Vikings fan. But hey, he's been better than I thought. And then Zamir's been terrible. So ankle and quad injuries, they are out. Amir getting the start. He already has a reception touchdown this game, dude. So he's not doing bad. And if he did well this game, it would not surprise me if he took over the starting job for this team, dude. It's like, what are they playing for? Whatever, dude. Kansas City next week, the fewest fantasy points per game, 12.8 to running backs. So yeah, Amir gets the start, and maybe you pick him up, and then he's got the worst matchup possible. So not great, but running backs are so thin, dude, you got to pick him up. Roshan Johnson, they changed coaches, right? Offensive coordinators. The running back coach came in, and the first week that happened, dude, Swift went down to like 57, and Roshan saw a season high at 42% snap count. And then this week against Minnesota, dude, 2 rushes for 2 yards, but he did get a touchdown. So touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. I do think he is the goal line back there. Maybe worth a flex play in standard leagues if you're desperate, dude. And if you got a bunch of people on bye, you got to play him as your running back too and hope for a fucking touchdown. But guess what, man? He's got a terrible matchup again at Detroit on a short week. Thanksgiving again, dude. 4th fewest fantasy points per game. So, yeah, Detroit and Minnesota kill the run, and now he's got to go 2 in a row, but he scored a touchdown at least this week. And then Austin Estime, I got super pumped on him, and then he fell off the face of the planet last week. So 10% fab, I still think you should pick him up because this team is still full of rookies, man, and they're still trying to find their identity. It would not surprise me if he got the full load in the last 3 weeks or the 4 weeks or whatever, man, starting this week. So 23% snap share after the 45%. So that was terrible. And then fifth round rookie. So the draft capital is there with Sean Payton offense versus Cleveland. Elite Cleveland is not like elite against the run, but they are pretty good. 11th fewest fantasy points per game. So see how he's involved and then plan accordingly. And then here we go, man. We're going on to handcuffs now. Cam Akers, I thought he was going to be a flex this week. It all went to Aaron Jones. All right. So Cam Akers was getting on the field a lot. Looks like Aaron Jones is actually feeling healthy again. Not great. Ray Davis, top tier handcuff. Braylon Allen, again, top tier handcuff. Blake Corum, dude, Kyron has the highest usage, so Blake Corum would be amazing. Trey Benson would be a league winner if James Conner went down. And then Gus Edwards, again, is actually doing better than J.K. Dobbins a little bit. So he is worth a pickup for if you are a J.K. Dobbins owner. All right, everybody, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Again, check back later, see if I added any more players on this list and add your own, man. Hey, and if you actually did like this show, please give me a thumbs up. It gives us a higher chance to get seen by more people, man. YouTube will send it out to more faces, more places, and that's what this show needs, dude. We need subscribers, man. So please, please, please subscribe. Hopefully we earned that thumbs up. Hopefully we earned that subscription. I'm just begging out here on the street corner doing some stuff. But anyways, this is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and this is the Fantasy Red Zone, and I appreciate